What's up, everybody? Garrett Crowley here with Duty to Train, and I wanted to talk about how I've been like very productive lately, and what it allows me to do is like finally relax when it comes to like spending time with family. I went to a hockey game with my kids and my wife yesterday. Caps versus oh, Caps versus somebody. I should know this. I'm not a huge hockey guy, but anyway, doesn't matter. It was super fun, right? Because like I everything was like kind of done. And one of the things that I've been like a procrastinator my whole life, and I'm always like, oh, I'm a procrastinator. I'm not a procrastinator. I just procrastinate, right? There's a difference, right? I just procrastinate. Nobody is a procrastinator. You're a procrastinator if you procrastinate, but the moment you stop procrastinating, you're not a procrastinator anymore, right? And I've just like really like kind of had my ducks in a row recently, and so I went to the game yesterday, and it was like honestly one of the most enjoyable, relaxing moments ever because I didn't have anything hanging over my head. There wasn't anything I had to do. There wasn't anything that was left undone. Like I came home to a clean house afterwards. Then we had like pizza and a movie night with the kids, and I think it's just there are lots of times in my life, especially in the past like 10 years or whatever, where I'm just like overwhelmed, and it's not overwhelmed. It's just being lazy. Like that's an excuse. Just being lazy. Wake up. I know I have things to do. I just don't do them by the end of the day. And instead of like getting stuff done by the end of the day, I'm like kind of just not even tired from like doing stuff. It's just tired from like stuff constantly hanging over your head and then not doing it, feeling crappy about yourself. And then at the end of the night, you watch a movie, but you're not really enjoying the movie, not wholly, because like you have all these other issues that like you're trying to deal with, right? And so rather than like really being at the end of the day being like, okay, I earned this movie. I'm gonna sit down, I'm gonna relax, and I'm gonna enjoy this movie. I was like stressing out. It's like it's an escape rather than like really enjoying it. It's like an escape. I don't know. Yesterday, I just went to this hockey game and I like consciously thought about it because I've been like really trying to like better myself and like make all these changes and stuff. And I was sitting at the game and I was like, there's nothing else I have to think about right now. Like, there's lots of things I have to eventually do, right? But I can't do them right now. And I've done everything I can up until this moment for the past, like, frankly, like 2, 3, 4 weeks. I've like really kind of made a strong effort to really get things going. And so once I was at the game, I was just like totally with my kids, totally present, super fun. And I think when it comes to like having like a great life, right? There's like work and effort and stuff. But then like what's the whole point? The whole point, especially if you have kids, is to like be present with your kids. And if you can't be present with your kids, then like what's the point of having a family? Right? What's the point of life, frankly, if you don't have a family? And it's my own personal opinion. I just the amount of joy that I get from my kids is just like it's so high. And if you've never had kids before, I don't know, you're thinking about it, it is magical. And my kids are 4 and 6 right now, and I can just tell you from my own experience, I know that this is prime kid time. Like Halloween this year was probably the best it may ever be. Like next year will be like really cool too. The next 4 years are going to be the best years of being a parent ever. Like the most magical. Like there are definitely going to be like other times that are really great too. I don't mean it in like a better way, but when it comes to like the magic of being a child, the next like 4 years between when my kids are like right now, like my daughter's 4, my son is 6. So when they're between like, 4 and 6 and 8 and 10 or whatever, like that's like magic time. Like Halloween's at its peak, Christmas is at its peak, Easter is at its peak, like Easter egg hunting and like all this stuff. It's just everything is so much fun when you view it through the eyes of a kid. And like going to the hockey game yesterday, it was so much fun because I don't really care about hockey. But like my kids were having a blast. They had so much fun. And to just be able to like be present and not have things like hang and loom over my head just allowed me to like totally be there as a dad and not like be thinking about other things or looking at my phone or it's like phone went in my pocket. I have to have my phone on me, but like phone went in my pocket and then it vibrated at one point. My daughter was sitting on my lap, we were watching the game, and she's like, "Oh, Dad, your phone's vibrating." And I said to her, I was like, "I don't need my phone. I'm spending time with you." And she was like, "Oh." And it was just like I don't know. It's so cool. And so I think like I really want to be successful. Like I want to make money, but like at the end of the day, like money's really just like a conduit to like be able to do the things that you want to do. Like the money's really not that important, but you need money to be able to like go do fun stuff with your family and provide and eat well, whatever. But like at the end of the day, like those are the moments that like matter. And to be honest too, like if you can't afford to go to a hockey game, this was really cool. But I we had a friend or a family member rather, who had a stroke recently, older guy, and it was on my wife's side of the family, and so we like made them Thanksgiving, and brought them over like a Thanksgiving meal, and the guy's son was there, and so the guy who had the stroke was like 90, and then his son was like 60 or whatever, and he was there, and he took the kids outside. I honestly, I've never seen someone be better with kids than I saw this guy, and he doesn't have any kids, and maybe that's why he's so good at it. But I saw him, and all he did was, my son brought up the fact he really liked football, and so he's like, "Oh, you like football?" And he's like, "Oh, I gotta show you something. I gotta show you." And his excitement got the kids amped. They were like, "Oh my gosh, what does he have? What does he have?" And so he brought him outside, and he had this deflated football. It was like no air in it, right? Kids didn't care. They had a blast. And so he was like, started passing it with my son, but my 4-year-old daughter can't like really pass like that, right? And so he realized that she wasn't getting involved. And so he totally read the situation perfect. And he was like, "Okay, I got a game. I got a game. You guys want to play a game?" And they were like, "Yes, yes, we do." It like makes me almost want to cry. Like to see that amount of joy on your kid's face, it's not hard. Like you don't have to pay $150 to go to a hockey game. Like he literally, and then the game was you toss it around from person to person like hot potato, and you have to get to 10 passes before you drop it. And if you do that, we would win. And we did like around in a circle, like just one to the next first, and then the next game, once we did that, then you could pass it to whoever. So you kind of had to like be a little bit more on your toes. And it took us like a while because like people kept dropping it or whatever. It took us like 15 minutes for the second version because like people would get surprised and then drop it or whatever. And but finally, my daughter was the one that won. My daughter was the one that got the 10th pass, and we were like, "Lily, Lily, Lily," and she was like beaming. You know what I mean? And it's just you. Money's like awesome, and money's great, and it's a great thing. I'm not like knocking money, but if you're at a point in your life where you can't afford to do what seems to be those really fun things, as a parent, right? Your kids don't care. Your kids don't care. Like you are as rich as you make your kids think you are. And it's crazy to see that. But yeah, if you had given me a deflated football, I'm like, "Hey, go have fun with the kids," I would have been like, "Oh, you guys like want to go play catch?" That's not how you do it. You go, "Oh, guys, I got a game." And then they just get totally enthralled and they're like, "Oh my gosh, what?" And you're like, "Oh, we're gonna pass it around, but if you drop it, then we lose." And they're like, "Oh, we can't lose." It's like I don't know. This is just like the magic of like 6 and 4. Like you can't really do that with like a 10 and a 12-year-old. They're gonna be like, "Well, this football's deflated." But like 6 and 4, like there's a way to do it. You just have to do it differently. Like I don't know exactly how or whatever. I don't know. Different video, but yeah, there's just so many ways to like create like a magical upbringing for your kids. And it just made me realize the other day, like I don't know, I just kind of thought of it in this moment. I wasn't even really going to talk about it, but like I just had such a great time at the hockey game. But I know a lot of people out there probably can't afford to go to a hockey game right now. But all you have to do is get like some deflated football and you can go outside and you can have like a 45-minute awesome memory with your kids like playing and be like, "Oh, I don't, it's just there's so many different things you could do." So um, get your stuff done day to day, and then that way once you do have time to spend with your family, then you can just totally relax and be totally present, and then really create those awesome memories. Because if you're in the moment, you're going to remember things, and if you're in the moment, you're really going to appreciate it. And what's the point of like doing anything if you can't live in the moment with your kids? So, and your wife. I've really enjoyed like hanging out with my wife too. I'm like talking about my kids, but it was just, I wasn't like seeing the game like through my wife's eyes. Like we were both just looking at our kids, and we were just like we kept smiling to each other the whole time. We're like, "Oh my gosh, they are having so much fun," and it was just super magical. Like we got them like caps, hats, and they were just like all about it. So anyway, yeah, work hard so you can be present. Because if you're not present, then what's the point? And until next time, stay safe, live free, be present, and I'll talk to you later. See ya.